Today we're doing some morphing, but this time it's infinite. Alright, so we got a pretty sweet one this week. We are playing Infinite Morph combo, and the goal of our deck is to go infinite with Yarus, Roar the Old God. So Yarus, it's got a whole bunch of decks. 4 mana 4/4 gives our other creatures haste. When one or more face-down creatures deals combat damage, we get to draw a card. The important ability for our combo, though, is when a face-down creature we control dies, we return to the battlefield face-down, and then flip it face-up. So our hope is to combo off with Yarus in this weird old Morph mythic from Khans of Tarkir in Ashcloud Phoenix. So Ashcloud Phoenix, 4 mana 4/1 flyer. When it dies, it returns to the battlefield face down. We can morph it for 6, and when it's turn face up, it deals 2 damage to each player. So the goal of our deck is to get a Yarus, to get an Ashcloud Phoenix, face up, face down, doesn't really matter, and then get Woe Strider as our sack outlet. So with this setup, what we can do is we use Woe Strider to sack the Ashcloud Phoenix. It doesn't matter if it's face up or face down. So Ashcloud Phoenix is going to come back into play because of Yarus. It's going to flip face up. It's going to hit each player for 2. Now we're going to have a face up Ashcloud Phoenix that we can sack to Woe Strider, which will come back into play face down because of its ability, and then we sack the face down Ashcloud. It comes in because of Yarus, flip face up, hit everyone for 2. Essentially, as long as we have more life than our opponent, this setup just wins us the game on the spot. We just keep sacking the Ashcloud Phoenix until it eventually burns our opponent out of the game. But I hear you wonder, what if we have less life than our opponent? Because that's a concern, right? We have a plan for that in Pyrotechnic Performer. So Pyrotechnic Performer, when a creature is flipped face up, it deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. So with this setup, if we add Pyrotechnic Performer to the mix, when we go through the loop, rather than hitting each player for 2 because of Ashcloud Phoenix, we're going to hit our opponent for 6. 4 from Pyrotechnic Performer, 2 from Ashcloud Phoenix, and we're going to take 2. So now, even if we have less life than our opponent because they're taking so much more damage than us, we still can combo off and win the game. So that's the primary goal of the deck, setting up this weird, janky, infinite morph combo. The other key piece to the deck is hide in plain sight. So the power of hide in plain sight, which is like cloaking company, it's like collecting company, but it puts the creatures face down, cloaked or whatever. The power of this card in our deck is we can use it to find our combo pieces. Yes, if we find like Yarus or Woe Strider, we do need to spend mana to flip them face up, but if we find an Ashcloud or a Pyrotechnic Performer and they are cloaked, that's actually perfect because we're fine with having them face down anyway. So this is a really good way we can dig for our combo pieces to set up the combo and win the game. Otherwise, we get some ramp to speed things up, Smuggler's Copter to filter through our deck, Fatal Push for removal, mana base, pretty typical stuff other than some like Fabled Passages to try to make the 3-color mana work. In the sideboard, Thoughtseize for control, some more removal, Damping Sphere, Krenko's Buzz Crusher for Lotus Field, Leyline of the Void for graveyard decks, and that is Infinite Morph combo. That's our deck for today. So let's jump into some games and see if it's actually possible to go infinite with Ashcloud Phoenix, Yarus, Woe Strider, and Pyrotechnic Performer. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit for the wrap-up. Against the odds time, we are trying to infinite Yarus morph combo. This combo's so jank, but if it works, it's gonna be sweet. We're playing Pioneer. Well, I guess Explorer technically. Island A. This hand, we got our Yaruses, which is good. Hide in plain sight can find our other combo pieces, and Smuggler's Copter is just a good card. We'll see. We'll see what our opponent's up to. Probably playing control. I don't know, basic item could be anything. Are you countering our Smuggler's Copter opponent? Please say no. Oh, it's Phoenix. Likely Phoenix. Considered pretty much a Phoenix card. That would make sense. Alright, well, we get a Smuggler's Copter. We really want one more land. I don't trust that this Land of Realms is gonna live. Elvish Mystic. Our janky mana punishing us. Well, play Technuma. Play Elvish Mystic. And crew it up. Well, let's see if we get to loot. We would like to loot here. Opponent. No. No. Ouch. Lightning Axe discards the Phoenix. Okay. Well, that's not great. Not only did they kill our Copter, they have a Phoenix #1 in the graveyard. We do not have any graveyard hate, so we just pretty much got a race. Although if our Mystic lives, we get to do something sweet next turn. Probably Yarus? I guess we'll see. I guess Yarus into hasty hide in plain sight is probably best. Opponent going to opt. Can they get back to Phoenix? That's question number 1. And Steam Head's untapped. odds increasing of that Phoenix coming. At least there's only one Phoenix at the moment. Fiery Impulse, and do you have one more can't? Wow, okay. Well, we draw the fast land at the worst possible time. But we did not get Phoenixed. Our opponent was one card short of Phoenixing us, so that's fine. Good old fast lands. Coming off the top on turn 4, opponent Ledger Shredder. And, well, okay. This Land and We're Dying is kind of fine. At least we can cast our 4-drops. Now we might hide in plain sight rather than Yarus, just because Spell Pierce is a concern. Well, okay, there's our Ashcloud. That's good. And then, Stomping Grounds, I guess? So Yarus, it's worth mentioning, maybe we should take in the copter. It's worth mentioning with Yarus that if a face-down permanent dies, oh god, Galvanic Iteration? Oh, okay, Picklock Prankster, sure. So our opponent's gonna do a bunch of milling. But with Yarus, if a face-down permanent dies, we get it back. So, like if our land dies, it comes back. That would have been the reason that Smuggler's Copter might have been, it probably would have been better. I mean, that's just something to keep in mind. It doesn't come up that often, but in theory, it could. All right, opponent gets back a removal spell. Thankfully, we have Ward 2. Opponent's going to get in. Well, all right, it's going to be a good Yarus turn, I think. Opponent plays an untapped land. Well, I mean, we're still going to Yarus. What else are we going to do? I guess our opponent's last card would have to be like Lightning Axe to mess this up. And then we get to get in and draw cards. So all we really need to go infinite is Woe Strider. If we can find our sack outlet. Wow, another Yarus. All right. Well, we have enough of those. A backup, I guess, isn't the worst, but they are legendary. All right, opponent. Well, someday this Phoenix is going to come back. It might even be today. Oh, 2 Phoenixes are going to come back. Opponent Ops, spell number 1. Well, this is probably the double Phoenix turn. Is there any way we win the race against 2 Phoenixes? We do have Performer. I mean, if we draw Woe Strider, we're good. Ugh, Galvanic Iteration. Oh, and then they can Fiery Impulse the Yarus. All right. Well, we'll see. Opponent discards a land. Well, we know the Phoenixes are coming. So we're taking, what, 9? So we're dead in 2 turns. That seems bad for us. Fatal Push would be a good draw. Okay, we're not dead yet. We would have just been straight up dead, but this Fatal Push means we could live. So we can Fatal Push the Ledger Shredder before we cast our second spell. Get down our Yarus. Smash it for 4. Draw a card. Well, okay, it all comes down to this. So our opponent does have 2 Phoenixes. There are still ways that we die. Like any burn spell that can go face gets us. Another Phoenix in the graveyard could get us. But we got a shot. Does our opponent, they might have to play defensive Phoenixes here. They might have to stay back and like, and just block. And then hope to get the Phoenixes back the next turn. All right, Prankster, Mills, no Phoenix. Whew. If they hit a Phoenix, we pretty much lose. They have the Consider still. 27 cards in the deck. This is going to be close. I mean, it pretty much comes down to this turn cycle, I think. I mean, we'll see how our opponent plays it. If they go defensively, it becomes interesting because we can't actually kill them. And our stuff isn't, well, I guess our stuff also comes back because of Yarus. I was going to say our stuff doesn't come back, but our stuff kind of does come back. Wow, Treasure Cruise. All right. Drawing 3. I mean, they have the spells for sure. They just don't have another Phoenix in the graveyard yet. Well, we might not get a combo, but maybe we get a win against, like, maybe the best deck. All right, here they come. Not going to play defense down to 2. And passes. Don't we just win now? I mean, I guess they could have Lightning Axe. That would be a problem. How do we do this? Let's play Performer face down. And play the Elvish Mystic. Mystic kind of free since it has haste, so we can tap it right away. Well, here we come. Do they just have nothing? Whoa! I think they punted. Brazen Borrower, but they waited until after we attacked with our... Ooh, wow. Okay. Flip of the Performer and get the win. That was lucky. We should have been dead there. If they just cast their thing right away, we were definitely dead. Well, I don't know why they waited, but... Yeah, all right. Not a combo, but a good win. Sweet, sweet. Again, against the odds time, we are trying to, we're trying to fatal push. We're playing some infinite morph combos, seeing if we can pull off the infinite Yarus Ashcloud Phoenix combo. Yeah, let's just lead on the black source in case we need a fatal push. We're not doing anything next turn anyway, so we might as well. Yeah, I guess we need a Fable here, and then we can Woe Strider next turn. All right, well, let's see what our opponent's up to. Schwamp, and well, that's a fatal push target. Kite Sail Freebooter down. Fatal push Tron might actually be good in this matchup. Well, let's grab a forest. So in our dream world, maybe we can play Woe Strider, and then if we can hide a Yarus and Ashcloud, maybe we could actually combo. Well, all right, another Fabled Passage is fine. Woe Strider, go. What is our opponent doing? You don't see too many, Cabal Stronghold, Slaughter Specialist. Opponents bringing the spike. That actually is pretty good against our Woe Strider. Pyrotechnic Performer. I mean, we can kill the Specialist, but do we need to? I don't even know if we really need to. A Swamp. So we can Fatal Push and Face Down Performer, or we can just hide. I think hiding's just better. Well, Smuggler's Copters for days. Unfortunately, they are face down, and we don't really have a way to face up them, but better than nothing. We didn't hit a single creature somehow. That was a very weird hide in plain sight. Kills our... Probably should have scryed there. Yeah, definitely should have scryed there. So Kravik gives everything -1, -1, and it grows the Specialist. Our opponent's popping off. They are popping off. And now our Morphs are 1/1s. So these Fatal Pushes are going to be good. We'd have to sack a face-down Smuggler's Copter, though, to kill the Kravik. Maybe we just don't... We can kill the Slaughter Specialist. Maybe we just kill that and play the Performer. I guess we can also get in with the Woe Strider. I don't think they'll block, but they could. It's possible. Opponent down to 18 and face down. Pyrotechnic Performer and land and go. I mean, worst case, we can eventually sack something to this Woe Strider. We'd rather sack something worse than a Morph, or a whatever face down creature. Lifeblood of Toshiro Umezawa. Haha. All right, now we get to play the guessing game. Opponent. Which face down creature you're most scared of? I mean, they could kill the Woe Strider, but we just get it back. All right, so they're going to go with the latest face down creature, which is actually the best one. That's our Performer, unfortunately. All right. We're hoping they chose a Smuggler's Cop. Oh, and there's a Yarus. Oh. Well, I mean, okay, this is actually sweet. So we get to play the Yarus. We get to sack a Smuggler's Copter to trigger Revolt. It comes back into play because of Yarus. I think it's worth keeping a backup Yarus. And now we can Fatal Push this Kravik. And all of our creatures have haste. So we can crew the Copter. Get and hit ya. Opponent down to 12 past the turn. I think we're kind of in good shape here. Clickbait troll. It's been forever since I've seen a clickbait. All right, so opponent Clackbridge trolling. Opponent's deck is sweet. Opponent's like a dagger burn deck, but I haven't seen a dagger. Yeah, we don't need to tap it down. If they want to aid us, that's fine. So there's our second Yarus. Now we will do a little crewing. Get in with the Smuggler's Copter. I mean, our opponent does have an 8/8 now, although it can't really do anything because we can always just sack a goat if we have to. All right, down to 11. So opponent's gonna get their Saga. We really just need the Ashcloud. If we can find old Ashy, then oh, come on now. All right, this time we will properly sacrifice our goats. You are not an Ashcloud Phoenix. Are you an Ashcloud Phoenix? Hide in Plain Sight would also be good, because that would let us go, oh, Performer's really good, but it's not we need the Phoenix. We want the combo. I think we actually need the combo, because our opponent does have an 8/8 Trampler here, and now we don't have goats to sack. Well, to the bottom. Oh, Phoenix or Hide in Plain Sight. Those are the cards we need. One of those, and we have a chance to go infinite. So opponent, I guess we can sack the Copter, right? Because it's going to come back anyway. So we can do that for this turn. Get another Copter. The Copters are nice. They can at least loot to try to find our final combo piece. We just need the Ashcloud. All right, that's a land. That doesn't help. Well, crew the Copter. And crew the Copter. We get 2 more loots for it. Go to combat. Hit you for 2. Loot and loot. Well, okay, that's hide in plain sight. Not a guaranteed Phoenix, but it does go 5 cards deep. If we hit the Phoenix, we should just win. That's the whole point of the combo. Well, discard the land, discard the land. Opponent goes to 10. Well, show me Ashcloud Phoenix. Yes, okay. Yes. Okay, we're actually gonna do it. I think we did it. We'll take a backup Yarus. Now the fun begins. So when a face down creature dies, it comes back because of Yarus. In Ashcloud Phoenix, when it dies, it comes back face down. So we can sack the face down Ashcloud Phoenix to the Woe Strider. It comes back, hits everyone for 2. It's gonna come back and immediately die because of the Kravek, but then it comes back as a morph, so we get to do it again. So every time we do this, we're just smashing our opponent for 4, or for 2 rather. So we do this a few more times in a dead combo. It is actually possible to go infinite with Yarus. Also worth mentioning, I know I said this in the deck tech, but we do have to have a higher life total than our opponent or else this doesn't actually work. Or have Pyrotechnic Performer. Well, I mean, that's Yarus combo. That is how you infinitely morph an opponent. Opponent's deck was sweet, but not as sweet as ours. Against odds time, we are trying to infinitely morph in Explorer, I guess. Pioneer / Explorer. This hand's fine. We got the Ashcloud. We need the Yarus if we're gonna go infinite, but Land of Realms go. A little bit of ramp on turn 1, never a bad thing. Opponent starts with a creature land. Okay. I guess we just face down the Performer. It's a little awkward, right? Because so we can play the Performer here, but then we aren't guaranteed to be able to hide next turn. But, all right, Skrelv's Hive. Sure. Well, at least we can cast a Smuggler's Copter. I think that's better than running out the Ashcloud at this point. Well, gonna hit you. Down to 17. Skrelv's Hive, eh? What is our opponent up to? Are they a toxic deck? Well, yeah, you get your token. Opponent Plains and Wart. Are they playing the token burn enchantment deck, but in Pioneer? All these cards look like cards that were in the in the Much Brew deck from a bit ago. I think they might be. Well, let's take Numa and do a little bit of hiding. Come on, Yarus. Well, Ashcloud's good. Ashcloud and I guess just a land. Usually I always want to pick a permanent with hide just because of Yarus. Well, we get to do some looting and some scooting, and we have a fatal push if something goes horribly wrong. Well, hit ya. Draw. Ooh. Yeah, we're gonna discard Beseiju. We could use it to like blow up a War Leader's Call or something, but I think we just win the race. Hopefully that's not famous last words and our opponent has I don't know, what would they have? I guess just a bunch of another War Leader's Call. Thankfully our opponent's tokens can't block. If they had tokens that could block, we might be in trouble. Fatal Push. Get rid of the token. And opponent. Okay. Thraben Inspector and Castle Ardenvale. So this looks a lot like the token burn enchantment deck in Standard, but it appears to have been upgraded a bit for Pioneer. Ooh, Pyrotechnic Performer A. Well, let's do some looting and some scooting. This might be, oh, we need red mana, don't we? We have no red mana. Yeah, we really need red mana. Well, okay, another hide in plain sight's fine. Yeah, we can't even flip our Pyrotechnic Performer. It would be really good here too. Well, hide in plain sight. For, well, double Woe Strider is fine. Those we can flip up. That is a big board of mysterious creatures. I think this is the most morphs I've had with this deck so far, or whatever, disguise creatures. 5 face down 2/2s. Please don't Pyroclasm. No Anger of the Gods, please. Pound it. Brothers of Dead, none of those. Gets in, hits us. Yeah, we'll take it. We haven't been poisoned at all yet, so we can take 1 hit. We don't really want their tokens to get lifelink though. Wow. Oh. Yeah, that's a sign things are going bad when you got a main phase clue crap on another Skrelv's Hive, and a bonus scoops it up. If you get enough morphs, you can win, apparently. Against odds time, we are playing some infinite morph combo. We're not super close to comboing, but we do have the hide in plain sight, which could find us combo pieces. Well, Elvish Mystic, go. Opponent, Brushland, and, ooh, Botanical Brawler. Well, Fatal Push is a good draw. Yeah, let's Fatal Push. We can Fatal Push and still run out of Smuggler's Copter. Actually, you know what? Maybe we just land a war and tap land. That might be better. Yeah, let's do this. And then we can hide in plain sight next turn. Another Brushland. Ooh, hard. Oh, they're playing a Scales deck. Sweet. Oh, Brawler's very scary. Now we need another Fatal Push or to combo off, but this Brawler is going to get super big, super fast. Yeah, already a 3/3 trampler. I mean, I guess it's hiding time. Well, we get a Woe Strider and yeah, just take a random land. Your go, opponent. Well, let's see what they have. So Brawler, whenever something else gets a counter, it gets a counter, but there's Hardened Scale, so it's gonna be 2 counters, so Orky Jelly. Not a good card, but pretty good right here, because now that's a 5/5 trampler. All right, down to 15. It's probably Copter time, I guess. We can flip up a Woe Strider, but it doesn't do much here. We can play a Woe Strider. Maybe, so we do have a Woe Strider, right? So all we need Yarus and Ashcloud. We can just pass and take Numa. I think that's better than playing another Smuggler's Copter. We could also flip up the Woe Strider. We do want the Woe Strider face up if we're gonna combo with it. Pollen Braid Druid. Proliferate, yep. Oh, this Brawler's so big. I think we're dead. That's a 9/9. We even had a Fatal Push this game too, and we're still just getting absolutely run over by Scales. Well, we can crew. We gotta at least try to kill something. I think our hope is kill the Jelly and then top deck a Fatal Push to kill the Brawler. If we kill the Brawler, we're kind of good. Well, we get to loot. The whole defensive Smuggler. You don't see too many looting on blocks with Smuggler's Copter, but it is an upside. Oh no. Oh, Dramoka's Command. So counter on the Druid, which also will put counters on the Brawler, and they fight our Copter. Fatal Push still might do it. That's not a Fatal Push. All right. Well, we are gonna need a miracle, like a miracle man. Terminus. Wow, that wasn't even a good take Numa. We get another Mana Dork, and we drop to 2, and there's the Yarus, but too little too late. That was a really scary Scales draw. I didn't realize that could pop off like that, but I guess it can. Against the odds time, we are playing some Infinite Morph combo. We get a fast hide in plain sight. Otherwise, Mana Dorks for days. Only 1 green source, which is kind of fine, although it does mean if our opponent just kills our Elvish Mystic or whatever, things could go wrong. Opponent Shambling Ghast. Yeah, Stomping Grounds and Elvish Mystic. That's a little scary. If you're playing Shambling Ghast, you're probably sacking it, and that's good at killing Llanowar Elves. Well, or you just Virtue of Persistence, that also works. Opponent. It's us to 17. Well, Mana Dork number 2 and tap land. Go. This deck's interesting. I like it, and it's really fun when it works. I wish Morphs were more powerful. I almost wonder, and maybe this is just crazy talk, and maybe I'm gonna regret saying this because it would be kind of power creepy. But could Morphs cost 2 now? Would that be too OP? I wonder if that's like the level to make them more playable. Opponent, there's the sacking the Shambling Ghast. Do you think that Morph or Cloak or Disguise or Mega Morph, do you think that those mechanics, what if it was like a face down 2/2 for 2, like a Grizzly Bear? Would that just be busted? We would like to be casting a hide in plain sight this turn, but our opponent refuses to let a Mana Dork live. Yeah, let's just Woe Strider, I guess. We could run out another Mana Dork, only for it to inevitably die to our opponent. Well, Woe Strider. What is our opponent up to? Just some sort of like mono black aristocrat? Ooh, oh, Sedgemoor Witch. Okay. All right. So Sedgemoor Witch shenanigans. I remember thinking Sedgemoor Witch was going to be really good, but then it wasn't. It turns out 3 mana Young Pyromancers, even with a bunch of upsides, not quite good enough. It is a cool card though. Well, let's grab a Forest and yeah, let's attack. I think if our opponent trades, we're okay with that. We would not mind getting the Sedgemoor Witch off the battlefield. Opponent gonna take it. Yeah, let's just hide. There's some like Pyrotechnic Performer plus Mana Dork, possibly. Ooh. All right, this is going to get interesting. So we're not comboing, but we have a lot of face down Pyrotechnic Performers. We have 2 already and another one in hand. That's a lot of damage, right? So you flip the first one up for 3, the second one for 6, the second one for 9, 18. That's actually kind of absurd. Is Pyrotechnic Performer busted? Oh, Virtue of Persistence on the Woe Strider, okay. In this scenario, that's way better than hitting the Performer. I think we're on the Performer plan here. I think that's our main plan. Flip them all up and hope for the best. Meat Hook X0. Well, I'm glad they did that. I guess casting Meat Hook for a bunch of mana also blows them out, which they probably want to avoid. The more Performers we have, the more damage flipping them up deals. We could also like face down an Ashcloud. We could face up an Ashcloud. Maybe that, yeah, maybe the Ashcloud's just better here. Our opponent's in a high enough life total, so we did the math, right? We can deal 18 by flipping up the Performers, but our opponent's at 21, so we're gonna need a little more damage somewhere. Yeah, let's just run out the Ashcloud face up, pass the turn. So in theory, the Ashcloud hit plus the Performers, that will hopefully be enough. And if the Phoenix dies, well, it comes back face down, and then we can flip it up with the Performers maybe. All right, Plumb the Forbidden. One of the absolute scariest cards with Sedgemoor Witch, but thankfully our opponent only had 1 token to sack. So they draw a 2, make a couple pests. I guess that Meat Hook Massacre kind of makes sense. If they're just going to be sacking their stuff, they probably don't actually want to use it as a Wrath most of the time. I think they just want the 2-mana enchantment mode. Opponent down to 20 and passes. I wish we had more red mana. Why is Llanowar Elves... Why doesn't it make Gruul? It should be a Birds of Paradise. Well, get in with Ashcloud, hit you down to 16. So we need to flip our Performers over the course of 2 turns. So we can flip 1 end step, flip 2 during our turn. I mean, that might be enough. Well, play the Performer. A very mysterious Performer. And yeah, let's just pass. Leave up double red for flipping purposes. The ward is actually pretty helpful on these cards. I imagine that some of our face down creatures would be dead. Ooh, another plum. Okay, this plum's even better. So opponent gets to sack 2, gets 3 creatures, draws a bunch of cards. Oh, if they draw another, maybe they don't know. I mean, they obviously don't know what our creatures are, but maybe they don't realize how close they are to being dead. Like, they're probably not expecting triple Pyrotechnic Performer being the face down cards. Massacre, Meat Hook Massacre would be a huge blowout. Like, Meat Hook just absolutely crushes us here, but it also hurts our opponent, so hopefully they don't do that. Hopefully they just do anything except for that, and then we win with Performers. We wouldn't mind our opponent tapping out, I guess. Opponent, i.e. Twitch. Because there is going to be a window, since we only have 2 red, where they could kill a Performer before the other one flips up. All right, gonna sack a pest and gain a life and make a pest and draw some cards. Yeah, if Sedgemoor Witch just sits out in our opponent's deck, it does so much work. It does a lot of work. Ooh, Sedgemoor Witch number 2. I think that's fine though, right? We can deal 16 here. Use the rest of that mana. There's an eye twitch. I mean, we gotta go for it. Fatal Push I think could get us, but we gotta try because Double Witch is gonna get us. Well, flip up a Performer, hit you for 3. Flip up a Performer, hit you for 6. Opponent's down to 7, and 1 more performance. It worked. It worked. Apparently, triple Pyrotechnic Performer is pretty good. Pretty not bad. Well, not the combo, but that was actually a pretty funny win. It is infinite morph time. Oh god, Yarion. Top 1800. Oh boy. Can we beat a control deck? Let's just run out the Smuggler's Copter. I mean, I imagine this is control. I guess it could be something else, but most likely a control deck of some kind. Opponent, Glacial Fortress. All these Fatal Pushes, not ideal. I feel like a counter is pretty likely. The awkward part is, if we tap the Elvish Mystic to the Copter, then we don't have the mana for Hide in Plain Sight. I think we just wait. I think the odds of Hide in Plain Sight getting countered are very close to 1,000,000%. Get in with the Copter. Being able to loot away some Fatal... Well, all right, another Copter's fine. Being able to loot away some fatal pushes is pretty nice here. I imagine they're not going to do much against our opponent's deck. Hit you to 17. Run out the looter scooter. I mean, yeah, no more lies, okay. The odds are pretty high there that the control deck has the counter with 7 cards in hand or whatever. Opponent plays the plains. Now the question's going to be, do we hide in plain sight? Or are we too fearful? We definitely would like to loot away the fatal push. So we can play new Llanowar Elves. Use the new Llanowar Elves to crew. See what our opponent does. If our opponent taps down, well, all right, to like kill the smuggler's copter, then we get to hide in plain sight. Well, or we just cast it anyway because we have 2 of them. It's not like we can do nothing. Like, we have to pressure the control deck, right? So if it gets countered, it's a bummer, but them's the beats. Wow, okay, wow, and a hit too. Do we need the Woe Strider? Maybe we Woe Strider Pyrotechnic Performer. The Ashcloud is just so much mana to flip up. Opponent cycles Shark Typhoon. Well, we're actually not in a bad spot. We're pressuring pretty well, and if our opponent Raz, we have a hide in plain sight to rebuild. Seems possible. All right, yep. Opponent has a Supreme Verdict. Well, there goes our board. But we get to hide in plain sight again. Yarus, Yarus Ashcloud. Oh wow, we're actually like kind of close to comboing. We have the Woe Strider in the graveyard. I mean, the only downside of this setup is we do have to spend 4 mana to flip up Yarus. Yeah, let's just discard a Stomping Grounds. Hit ya. Down to 11. We're also not in bad shape for just getting our opponent fairly, I guess. We do want to flip up the Ashcloud. Yeah, let's play the land. All right, well, let's see if they have another Wrath. Another Wrath here would be annoying, although we do still have the Woe Strider. Tap land and passes. So Wandering Emperor mana. So our things don't die to Wandering Emperor, at least don't die to the exile mode on Wandering Emperor when they're face down. But if we flip them face up, then they get sniped by Wandering Emperor. But we really want to flip them face up. The ward too is actually like oddly encouraging us to keep our creatures face down here. Let's crew with the face down Yarus. We probably are gonna flip up the Ashcloud at some point. We don't necessarily have to do it right now. Well, go attacking, do some looting. Discard a, yeah, I guess the land. Or are they taking it? Down to 6? All right, I mean, maybe we can just win fairly with face down creatures like Garfield intended. Opponent, Memory Deluge. The old 2-2 beatdown. It's kind of working. So now if our opponent goes to Wrath, we can flip up Yarus in response, and then that'll get back to Ashcloud. Wow, they're passing. I mean, we got to flip up, right? But then Wandering Emperor. This is so strange. I mean, I guess they have enough mana they can pay the ward now anyway. So we flip up Phoenix here, hit you for 2. I don't think we're going for the combo at the moment. If we're gonna combo, we want to flip up the Yarus, but I think we're on the just fair plan. Ooh, another hide in plain sight. That's actually not bad. That's a nice recover from a Wrath card if our opponent survives. Well, run out the Llanowar Elves to crew with Smuggler's Copter. Are we taking down the control deck? Oh, Absorb. That's actually the most annoying encounter. Puts our opponent back up to 7. Although Ashcloud plus Smuggler's Copter is still 7, right? Yeah? Do you have it? They need a removal spell at least. If they don't have a removal spell, they actually just die. Well, here they come. Attack, attack. Smuggler's Copter. They have so many cards in hand. They gotta have a removal spell, right? There's no way. March of Otherworldly Light. All right. Loot with the Copter. Discard the Forest. And I don't think I mean, passing's fine, right? We can use our mana to flip up Yarus. I think hide in plain sight is just too risky. Well, yeah, it's too risky, right? Because they could Wrath. We have lethal. We have 2 lethal creatures, but we could hit something sweet. You know what? Let's see if we can hit something sweet. No fear. They didn't have a Wrath last turn. And if they do Wrath, it's not the end of the world, right? So they Wrath. We get the Ashcloud. The Ashcloud comes back face down. We flip it up and kill him. Yeah, opponent. Done. And we beat the control deck, and that was actually pretty good. Apparently, we can beat control even through a Wrath. That's Yarus power. Sweet. I mean, we got a Copter, got some removal. Seems reasonable. No red mana, but we got time and a way to loot for it. Lunarch Veteran, oh no. Is this Amalia combo? I feel like I always lose to Amalia combo. It's so weird how there's certain decks I feel like I always beat, and certain decks I feel like it doesn't matter when I'm playing. It's just like I always beat the Primeval Titan deck in Timeless. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when I'm playing. I'm just gonna beat it. I feel like I always lose to Amalia combo no matter what I'm playing. They have my number. So we could tap land and kill the bishop, but since we have the looter scooter, I think it's better to loot and get in some damage. Keeping the life gain deck's life total low is relevant too, just because they're probably gonna have stuff that cares about like Speaker of the Heavens or whatever, stuff for Righteous Valkyrie if you're over whatever life, so getting in 3 is helpful. Discarding an Ashcloud's a little awkward, but we do have a backup, so it's not the end of the world. What do you got? Book of Exalted Deeds. Well, that's definitely a problem for future us. It's not gonna do anything right now, but that is an issue. So our opponent gains life, they make an angel, and they can potentially do the Platinum Angel thing. Yeah, that's long term, that's a little awkward. Well, we will take it down to 18. The good news is we're kind of like a Yarus away from trying to go infinite. Like, we have the Woe Strider, we have the Ashcloud. All we're really missing is a Yarus. We also need to be ahead on life, which I guess that's another reason to be attacking, is our combo's not going to work if our opponent has more life than us. Well, let's play the Ashcloud, get down the combo piece. In case we find the Yarus, crew it up, hit you for 3, looting. Ooh, hide in plain sight. Well, let's just pitch the Elvish Mystic. And then I think, so our opponent goes to 15. Yeah, I think we need to shock here. We probably are going to kill the Bishop of Wings. We'll see. If our opponent plays an Angel, I think we got to kill the Bishop, because that'll also trigger Book of Exalted Deeds, and we don't want that. All right, Youthful Valkyrie. Yeah. Well, snipe the Bishop of Wings. And opponent gains a life to 16. Speaker of Heavens gains a life to 17. Yeah, that would be probably an unwise attack. Opponent passes Blood Crypt. That's not a Yarus. Well, I guess we loot and skew. If we find the Yarus, do we win? Our life total might be too low. Oh, there's a Yarus. Wait, do we have it? Oh no, we have to oh, this is so awkward. So our opponent goes to 14, but to play Yarus, we need to shock, so we'll be at 14. So if we combo off, the game draws. Oh, that's not ideal. We would rather be winning. So we assembled a combo, but we don't have enough life to just win. Yeah, I guess we pass. The problem is our opponent's gonna gain more. Oh, Coco. Not only gain more life, but gain a lot more life. Opponent gains a bunch of life. You know what? It might have been wrong to discard that Pyrotechnic Performer. I think that was a mistake. Even though Hide in Plain Sight is such a better card, the card we want to hit the most is actually just Performer. So I think we should have just kept the Performer. Oh no. Ping-ya. Keep the Fatal Push. We get a free block on the Youthful Valkyrie. Our opponent, though, is going to get to make a Spirit with Bishop. Mistakes may have been made. Would we have won? Oh, I think we would have. Oh, that's so awkward. I just didn't think it far enough ahead. At the time, I was just thinking, all right, Hide in Plain Sight, like, that's the stronger card, right? We get 2 more, so why wouldn't we want 2? But in reality, what we need is the Performer, because the trick of Performer is, it means when we flip our Ashcloud Phoenix, our opponent takes 6 and we take 2, which actually means we could race our opponent here. Like, even though they're at way higher life total than us, yeah, I didn't really think through our opponent being able to, like, I didn't think through the Coco and hitting another Bishop to gain that much life. I thought they might gain 1 or 2 life and we could deal with it with our, like, Smuggler's Copter and combo off, but I think keeping this Hide in Plain Sight was a big mistake. Potentially, like, game-ending mistake. We could still spin into a Performer, although now we're down 1. I mean, we gotta do it. Performer? No. Land or elves and a land. Yeah, we like literally have infinite on board. We just don't have enough life to win with it. We'll die before our opponent. I mean, that is one of the downsides of this combo, right? Like, we not only do we need to assemble it, we do need to be at a higher life total or have pyrotechnic performer. Well, oh, opponent says oops and top decks another Coco. Yes, oops on you, opponent. Well, I think we got to kill, I guess, the Giada. At this point, I don't know if it really matters. This is bad in a bunch of ways. The Bishop of Wings is a problem. The Giada is a problem. I'm not sure what our most realistic pathway to winning from here is. Last turn was the turn with the pyrotechnic performer. Wow, opponent. Well, I guess we should have killed the Bishop. Opponent Coco's into 2 more Giadas. Makes some spirits, gains an insane amount of life, up to 36. Now they have so much life that I don't even think performer matters. Makes an angel, gains even more life. So we could go, what? We'll die in the 6th activation. I mean, we do kind of have an infinite blocker. That's cool. Here's the Ashcloud, burn us both. Block the angel. So we can sack stuff to scry for the performer, but I'm pretty sure we still just die. Yeah, opponent's up to 40. Ugh. They get another angel too and gain even more life. They've gained so much life. Well, we're gonna sack to look for the performer. I haven't actually done all the math, but I'm pretty sure that we lose either way. But we're gonna go for it. We're gonna try to do the thing. Land to the bottom. Face down, land. Get it back. Land to the bottom. Sack the Llanowar elves. Wow, so many lands in a row on the top of our deck. Actually, Technuma gets the performer. If only we hadn't discarded that performer. Well, I mean, we're gonna keep it, but I think our opponent just gains so much life that we still die. Yeah, they're at 43. Well, yeah, channel Technuma. Get back that performer that we really should have just held on to. So we can play performer face down. Sack the performer, flip it face up. Hit you for 3. Then the problem is, so every time we do the combo loop, our opponent takes 6, we take 2, but 6, 12, 18, yeah, like we need our opponent for 24, but then we die. If our opponent was at just like a high life total instead of an absurdly high life total, then it would have been fine. Really though, I think this was a self-inflicted loss. I'm pretty sure. If we had just held on to the performer, if we just thought through the amount of life our opponent could gain, I think we would have kept the performer and we would have won. But instead, we kept the stronger card, but the stronger card's not always a better card. And yeah, well, that's how you go infinite and kill yourself, I guess. The infinite morph combo that loses you the game. Maybe that's the title of this video. Always keep the pyrotechnic performer. That's a lesson. That's a lesson. We learned that last game. We will not make that mistake again. But this hand could use something to crew the copter. That's what we would like most. Just some way to do some looting. I mean, we do have Ashy. Hive of the IE Tyrant for our opponent. And do they even take the Ashcloud? I don't think anyone respects the Ashcloud. I kind of think our opponent's just going to snap off. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, snap off a Smuggler's Copter. People don't really respect Ashcloud Phoenix. It's not a bad card, though. Like, so, 4-mana 4/1, the 1 toughness is a problem. I would not play this card in Modern or Timeless. Like, Orcish Bowmaster formats, not going to go well. But, I mean, 4 Power Flyer for 4, and then when it dies, you get a Morph that maybe does something. Obviously, absurd in this deck. It's, like, the only way to combo with Yarus, I think, or the only, like, easy way. Well, get in with the Copter. We really wanted to loot away those lands. That was a good fatal push for our opponent. Yeah, let's just Fabled Passage. We'll hold on to the channel lands. There's some world where we just keep drawing lands and we can get value out of them. Graveyard Trespasser. Sure. Going to eat the Looter Scooter. Well, we'll crack the Fabled Passage. grab a mountain. Do we keep holding channel lands? We have Yarus now. We're actually like, I'm still worried about removal. Yeah, let's just face up the Ashcloud. Ashcloud's kind of removal resilient, at least. Shieldred. Well, gonna need a way to kill that at some point in the near future. So we get to play the Yarus, or just go infinite. That would also work. Yarus and Mystic, and I think we hold on to the channel land. That could be a way that we could find the Woe Strider, but we need other black mana. Another Graveyard Trespasser. Although the Ashcloud's gonna play good defense for a minute. Opponent plays a land, passes. There's a Performer too. I mean, that is big, right? We saw that last game, that having access to Performer does really help because it means we can combo even if our opponent has a higher life total than us. Although not like Angel high life total apparently, but play the Performer. I guess we just pass. I mean, if we draw the Woe Strider, we just play the channel land and play it and win. If we don't draw the Woe Strider, but we draw a Black Source, then we can channel to try to find the Woe Strider. But we are on this drain clock, so opponent's up to 22. We're at 16 and honestly falling. Preacher of the Schism. This Ashcloud with Yarus is actually playing pretty good defense. Opponent has a pretty good board of attackers, and they really just can't attack into the Ashcloud Phoenix, which is kind of hilarious. It is holding down the fort, but we still need one more piece to actually win the game. We're a Woe Strider away from taking down Shieldred. Down to 14. Smuggler's Copter. Well, I mean, we're gonna play it. Looting is not the best against Shieldred, but yeah, pass the turn. Ugh. Actually, that doesn't really matter, does it? All right, so opponent invokes Despair. Yeah, we'll just sack the Ashcloud. It's gonna come back. Opponent does get to draw cards when we drop to 10. Or they're up to 28. We're getting in that same position as the Angel game where our opponent's just gaining so much life that I'm not sure we can combo off before we die, even if we find the combo. Awkward opponent. Shieldred up to 29, draws with the Preacher. I mean, I still think black mana we get a free block. We could kill it by double blocking, but then we turn on Fatal Push to kill Yarus, which is awkward. We're just trying to stay alive for like another turn in hopes that we can combo kill, but it's gonna be tough. We can't hit for 4 in the air. We can hit for 7 in the air. I mean, maybe that's fine, right? So we can hit our opponent to 20, combo, 6, 12, 18, draw the game. It might be, if we find Woe Strider, it might actually draw the game, but that's better than losing. Sure. Well, we draw Llanowar Elves. I mean, so we can loot with the Smuggler's Copter, but then we're at 4? Yeah, I think this means we're just dead. Even if we loot into Woe Strider. Another Ashcloud. Yeah. Shieldred. This was literally Shieldred. I don't think our opponent dealt any damage to us outside of Shieldred raid. We just never found a way to kill the Shieldred. It just stuck out there, and eventually it just drained us out of the game. Infinite Morph time. Can we pull off the Infinite Morph? Ooh, double Pyrotechnic Performer and Yarus. Okay. This hand looks pretty good. This is the kind of hand that we want. We still need a couple more pieces to go infinite, but the life total problem should not be as much of a thing with the Pyrotechnic Performers. That's our way to combo, even if our opponent has more life than us. Mono. Well, okay. Not exactly mono red. Well, probably mono red, but not the normal mono red. We might just need to run out one of these face up, unfortunately. Having a blocker seems important here. And this gives us a nice curve, right? Face up, then face down into Yarus, assuming we don't draw anything better. Stack is pretty funny when it works. I still think they could have powered up the face down creatures a tiny bit more, but I don't know. I don't know what the answer would be. It's tough. It might be one of those things where a morph in Magic should be like 2.5 mana. We don't have fractional mana, so until we invent fractional mana, I guess we're stuck with 3 mana. But like 2 might be too much. 3 might be, or 2 might be too little. 3 might be too much. We are gonna block here. If our opponent wants to also sack their Fanatical Firebrand to kill this, we will take a 2-for-1. It is not easy to get a 2-for-1 out of Pyrotechnic Performer. I mean, that's gotta be their plan, right? Or else this is just the worst attack ever. Yeah, all right, so opponent gonna sack it. Well, we're pretty fine with this. Our 2-drop took down 2 1-drops. Fabled Passage. Well, I guess we play a Pathway and face down a Pyrotechnic Performer. So we need what? Woe Strider, Ashy, and also we have the Yarus. I mean, worst case, maybe we can start drawing cards with the Yarus. Legion Warboss. Oh, are they like a weird goblin deck? They might be a weird goblin deck. You know, you don't have to, I don't... All right. I mean, we're gonna block. We even have Ward 2. I don't know how this goes wrong. I don't know about that attack. Oh, so we could kill the Legion Warboss, but then we're just using our entire turn to cast a Fatal Push. Probably just gonna Yarus. They can have the Warboss for one more turn. I don't know how bad it can go, especially since our opponent seems to be a big believer in the chump attack method. So far, our opponent just keeps slamming their small creatures into our bigger creatures. I need to draw a Elvish Mystic. Okay. Better than a land, I guess. Slightly. You know what would be nice is hide in plain sight. That would be a way we could find both missing combo pieces. All right, you know, this might actually work. We might just take it. We would rather not lose Yarus, and they could, like, Lightning Strike. I don't know. Our opponent's deck is weird. I don't know what they could be playing, so I think we just take the 1. We can always kill the Warboss next turn with the Fabled Passage. That's why we played the untapped shock land last turn, to keep the Fabled Passage for revolting. Battle Cry Goblin. I mean, I guess we just do it. I don't know how we don't do it here. Crack the Fabled Passage, grab a Schwamp, Fatal Push you, and then also Fatal Push you. And then do a little attacking and see what we draw. Opponent goes to 12. Ooh, okay, there's a Woe Strider. There's a Woe Strider. Okay, now we're an Ashcloud away. We're an Ashcloud away from Infinite. Although we're also just winning by beating down here. It would be sweet to pull off the combo. That's one thing I'll say about the deck. It's won a reasonable amount. Ooh, Death Touching Legion Warboss. Oh, they're probably doing Goblin Chain Whirler. I see. Chain Whirler called the Death Dweller shenanigans. I don't know about this attack with what our opponent's attacks have been so confusing. I guess we'll take it. Oh my god, that's Ashcloud. Okay, we get to do the thing. All right, so cast Ashy face down because it's cheaper. Now we get to sack it. It'll come back face up. It'll hit everyone for 2. Doesn't matter what we leave on top. Now we can sack Ashcloud. Comes back face down because of its ability. Leave it on top. Do it again. And I think that's game. Is there any way this goes wrong? So our opponent's going to die before we do. I guess at some point we should flip up this Pyrotechnic Performer is technically correct. That speeds up the process. Opponent goes to 5. Sack the Ashcloud. Now the Ashcloud hits our opponent for 6. We only take 2. And that is the fullest of combos, and well, that's how you infinitely morph. Infinite until our opponent runs out of life, at least. All right, that was actually pretty sweet. Sweet. So what did we learn this week about Infinite Morph combo in Explorer? And overall, the deck was okay. It was a very against the